This is my entry into Down and Dirty Weathering Contest 2. So, I'm going to attempt to weather a car. Now, this is something that I am quite uncomfortable with. I wouldn't have done it on my own, and I had this car for a while, so this is a perfect opportunity to try some of my skills and just get down and do it. So, without further ado, let's get on and I will show you how I did this. I'm very nervous, not really sure how it's going to come out, but let's hope for the best. So I got this brand new car from Skell Trains. I'm going to open it up right now, right in front of you guys. One thing that I did notice I was a little upset about, I opened this prior too, was it came slightly damaged. As you can see, some of the lettering came off here, and if we pull it out, on the other side, more lettering was damaged here and also on this part. So, it is ironic that it came with my Firehouse whiskey brand. But we're going to try to make this better by weathering it, and that's what we'll be showing you here in a little bit. So, stay tuned. What I'm going to be using here today is obviously my car and oil paints. Now, the reason I'm using oil paints is it takes a while to dry and it has a long working time, so we'll be able to rub these on and then take time to take it off to the liking that we want. So I got transparent white. A lot of people use white, titanium white. My store was out of titanium white, so I used transparent white. They said it's good for dulling colors, so heck yeah, that's what I need. I need this dulled. And then I got raw sienna, burnt sienna, and burnt umber. So these are the colors we'll be using. I hope you enjoy. Okay, here we go. I am still nervous. So let's see how this goes. We're going to start with our transparent white. This roof, the painting was a little rough, which will end up being a good thing. The paint was rough, so the good thing is this paint has something to stick to. Now I'm just trying to pull enough off to make it a little bit more dull. From watching other people's videos, there's no rhyme or reason to how any of this is done. So that's what I'm doing. I'm not rhyming or reasoning with any of this. I'm just doing. And we'll see how it works out. I'm not as nervous anymore. Because it is what it is. So now let's get back to it. I'm liking how this is turning out. This is the first coat. We're lightening it up, and I didn't see how it's all streaky here. I didn't like that just because of from this. So just going over it with a brush. Looks like it's smoothing it out a little bit more, getting rid of those brush strokes. So I'm kind of liking that too. We're going up and down because that's how the rainwater would have gone. I don't know. I kind of like it. Okay, well, I was just kidding when I said Scale Trains messed up the decals on here. So what happened was, as I custom painted this, it is Scale Trains, but I custom painted it, I put my decals on it, and then I realized I didn't have my red stripe along the bottom like I like to on these black cars. So I taped it with blue painter's tape, and for some unknown reason I took the tape off. Now keep in mind, I did put a dull coat over the decals like you're supposed to. So when I took the blue tape off, it took up the rest of the decals. So I was like, oh great, now what? I'm not going to repaint it. I'm not going to go over it again and put new decals on. All of a sudden Ron came up with this weathering contest. I said, this is it. This is perfect for it. This car needs to be weathered. It needs to look like it's old and worn out. So that's what we're doing with it. So every screw up has its silver lining. Okay, I'm gonna let that dry for 20 minutes, half hour, and we'll come right back. I kind of feel bad. I lied to you. This did not take 20 minutes to dry. Something I learned about oil paints is they take forever to dry. So it's about 20 hours later, and it dried enough where I could put a clear coat on there. I put a acrylic clear coat. When that dried, I came and put Tamiya flat clear coat over it. So that's where we're at right now. I'm going to put burnt sienna as the next step. I put it there, and I'm going to thin it out with a little thinner, little-ish. We're going to apply the burnt sienna just like we did with the white. It's going to get a full coat on there. That is it. Burnt sienna coat has been put on. I don't know about you, but I'm liking it. I think this is coming out pretty good. Something else I was thinking about as you sit here and have nothing else to do but think. A really good aspect of weathering is it doesn't have to be perfect. You can just do whatever you want. We're not making a shiny brand new engine, so that's another cool part of it. Just do it. Just doesn't matter how it comes out as long as you like it. So we will let this dry for probably more than 20 minutes, and we will come back with the next part. Alright, I let this sit another day and put clear coats over it so it protects the oil paints. And we're going to be using burnt umber now. So this is the darkest of the browns that I have, and it'll make this rust here look like it's been there for a while, because this right now is a little bit light. So we're going to put some darker stuff on, make it look like it's old rust. And as I look at this closely, it actually looks like rust. It looks all kind of grainy and stuff. So this doesn't dry smooth, it dries nice and grainy. So I'm going to do this the same way I did the other colors. I'm going to thin this out a little bit, and then we're just going to apply it all over it and then wipe off as much as I want, or as much as we think we need. Alright, I'm hoping you can see this in the camera, but that really darkened it down a good amount. So you can look at there. I'm hoping this really comes out, how light rusted this looks, like almost new rust. And now we darkened it down. One of the things I do is my white coat, I didn't take a lot off, and then my burnt sienna, I tried to take a little bit more off, and this one I'm trying to take as much off as I can to kind of just leave it in the cracks and keep the black part as clear as I can. But I'm liking this. It darkened it down a lot. It makes it look like old rust, like it's been there for a while. So let's continue. Another thing I like to do is push up like this, and it pushes the paint up into the crevices, so it looks like there's dirt getting stuck in there. I think it gives a nice rendition of it, and being that these are round, it kind of gives a nice round feature contour to the rust like it would in real life. And it kind of pushes it up into those little round crevices there. Gives you an illusion that there's dirt getting stuck all up in there. It is darkened up. So this is the burnt umber, the last of the brown colors that we're going to be doing. I tried to take as much off the top as I could, and we'll try to do a little something else with this in the next segment. But I'm going to let this dry for a day and we'll get back with you. So the next thing we have to do is put some chips in the side and finish the roof here. Now, I'm probably not going to do any more painting on the roof because I feel like it's dark enough, so I'm probably just going to do the soot line from the exhaust from the engines going across the middle there. And I think that'll suffice for this model. And if it looks a little shiny, it's because I just shot semi-gloss over it, and I'm going to wait till the end to do the dull coat. What I'm going to do for the chips is use a burnt sienna and or a burnt umber paint, and just kind of take the brush and dab it in different places and make it look like when the door slides it's scraped the side a little bit. So let's get into that. So I got these pigments here. This one is dark damp rust, and I'm also going to use black soot. So I think I'm going to put the dark damp rust on first, and then go down the middle, and then we'll put the black soot on there. I think I'm okay with that. I like it. Like I said, I think it's already too dark, and I didn't want to go too much dark. I just wanted to give a little accent there. So I think this roof is done. This pigment goes a long way. So I think now we can move on to the sides. So on this I'm using the burnt umber, and I'm just going to kind of dab it and streak. Okay, I got some scrape marks in there on both sides. I wanted to kind of soften up the brush strokes a little bit with some powders, kind of make it look like it's running down the side. Man, this thing should probably be taken out of service, I'm just saying. But Firehouse Whiskey doesn't have a lot of money, so they gotta do what they can to keep them running. Now I got the bottom here. I kind of just sprayed it real quick with a couple different colors, and then I painted the wheels. What I'm gonna do now is just run some Saddle, it's called, the color, along the bottom here. Okay, there we are. I think I'm going to put a fork in this one, and we'll take some final shots of it so you can take a better look at it. Well, there you go. I think it came out pretty good, but then again, I might be a little bit biased. The thing I took away from this project was that weathering is very forgiving. If you make a mistake, you can just cover it up or incorporate it into the project. So it made me feel a lot more comfortable doing these kind of weathering projects. I've never done it before, but I think I'll be able to do it more in the future now. So I want to thank Ron, Eric, John, and Steve for putting this on and getting everybody out there and doing something they might not be comfortable with. So again, thank you very much.